Welcome back. My name is Jake McDonald. I'm Anything Lacrosse, and this is a game that never sits still. Today we have another great episode planned. We're going to have a guest on, Zach Raymond from YardSale Lacrosse. He's a player. He's going to be playing in the ALL this year. I'm excited to watch those games. Hopefully I can get some of them streamed and a lot of stuff. I'll have to look into it. I don't really know too much about the ALL yet, but I definitely learned a lot just by talking to him. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to be talking about the Dobson drama on X. I just think this is kind of a unique situation that you don't see in other sports, to be honest with you. We've got that. I'm going to be going over the top 10 picks for point leaders this year. There's a lot of good candidates, and I think I've got at least one that's on there that probably most people aren't going to agree with, but it's just the way I roll, boys. I'm going to talk about the league structure and possibly changing the league to this summer. And the guest is super exciting. The interview is great as always, so very informative. First thing I want to address on here is my editing from Monday's episode, okay? Episode 10. I was in Ontario. I streamed that in my grandparents' living room, not very private, obviously, as you could probably tell from the editing. I got AI to edit it too. I was on my way out. I was trying to get it done. I didn't have enough time to edit it fully, so I just let AI do it, figuring, it can't be that bad. Well, it wasn't too bad. I know it did bug some people. I listened to it on the way home, and that's when I knew. I was like, oh God. So definitely I usually edit my stuff manually, so I try to cut out all the little nuances and the extra noise and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna keep using AI to edit, but I'm gonna also be going over it myself, and I will tweak anything that it doesn't, it essentially doesn't catch. So anyway, I wanted to apologize for that because I definitely want my content to be tier one, but at the same time, I also want my content to come out when it needs to come out. So it's sometimes a balancing act and I'm learning. So we'll see what happens, boys. Sometimes it's just the way it is. And I'm also trying to show people that, just get on your phone and start recording. You don't need to be this expert and all that stuff. So I think sometimes when I put stuff out like that, it shows that I'm just a human being. I'm just a normal guy and anybody could do this. And I truly don't, anybody following me at this point can get on in front of a camera and just be consistent and put content out. So you don't need the fancy stuff. I'm slowly building and I'll continue to get better equipment and get better at doing this as well. That's my goal here. So it's to bring the best product and the best news, accurate information, and all that kind of stuff to you guys. So that's kind of just my general apology. So let's jump right into the story of the day, in my opinion, anyway. And this is what's going on X right now. Now, I don't think this is maybe as big of a deal as I made it out to be or whatever, but I think it's kind of funny. So this is kind of how I went about it. So basically what happened was Michael Kovics, I think that's how you say his name. I apologize if I'm wrong on that one. From Daily Dive, he follows me. He's on TikTok. Just started getting on TikTok. Really, he posts quite a lot of content. I was on his show yesterday. Nice guy. Really, really nice guy. Kind of just a fan like me that just started doing content. I think he said in 2022. So, similar to me, and we're just trying to grow this sport and all this stuff. And we're just kind of both amazed that this sport is the way it is, how we can even have the ability to jump in essentially like this. But anyway, go check that out if you can. But anyway, he put out that Mr. Dobson was on the trade block, and Brett did not like that so much. So he responded with a tweet, something along the lines of, basically, you're clout chasing. Actually, I don't even want to paraphrase this. I'm going to actually go read it. Hold on one second. I'm going to read this exact tweet because I'm just going to read you guys off the whole tweet thing because I don't want to paraphrase. I don't want to put any words in anybody's mouth. Let's just put it that way, okay? So we're going to go to Daily Dive. So we're going to go to Michael Carvelli. That's what it is. Sorry. So I apologize if I didn't say the last name right there, Mike. But so anyway, this is what all started this. Listen to his podcast, him talking about this. So this is kind of, surface level, what I can talk about here. But basically what he said is Brett Dobson on the trade block makes sense, actually. And he hashtagged the NLL. Well, Brett didn't like that too much. And Brett responded to him. And this is what he said. Michael Carvelli's, you're better than this. You're better than this gotcha journalism. I am not on the trade block, and I will not be playing for anyone other than the Georgia Swarm Lacrosse. I'm sure that tweet will help you get a lot of interaction, though. So for me, it's just like kind of calling him a clout chaser, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are a lot of guys that do that. I'm not personally one of them. From what I understand from Michael, I don't think he's really just trying to get clicks, real fast clicks. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't get that vibe off him personally from the talk that I've had with him. All right, here's Michael's response, okay? When rumors claim that Las Vegas made offers to Georgia to acquire you and that the Swarm listened, fans deserve that conversation. I'll definitely be happy if you are Swarm goalie when I go see games this season. So there's no ill intent there. Even now, I didn't go listen to his podcast, so I could be wrong. Maybe he was like really going crazy in there. But from what I've seen on X, I don't think that he was really just trying, this is a part of sports, and this is what I mean. This is actually good. And I said this in an X that I made out, or a tweet, whatever you want to call it. I put out that I think that this is good for the sport, and these players need to get used to this. This is going to be talked about. And the fact that Dobson actually responded to it has made it more out there, right? Players, if you're listening, don't respond to this stuff unless you want it to get blown up more. It's going to get blown up more if you respond to it. It's better to just let the fans speculate. Who cares, right? That's the thing about the league. Now, personally, I think putting out credible stuff is important. So if this was credible, he's put out credible stuff before, right? So I'm not going to say it's not credible because it might be. It might also not be. Who knows? I don't know. He's not going to, if he has sources, I'm sure he's not going to throw anybody under the bus that told him that. So who knows what's going on, right? At the end of the day, even as a player, if you're a player, I don't think you know what your team's doing, right? Every player has a price. I don't care who you are. Every player has a price. They just got rid of a couple of their guys, their veteran guys. One of the guys was Thompson, right? Not Lyle. But it kind of seems, and I went to watch them in the preseason last week at the ILA, and I can tell you right now that they look young and they look big and they look fast. But it looks like they're starting to, look at that movement toward the young talent guys. Now, Brett's only young himself. I think he's a piece that you could build around. And I think that it'd be, really kind of somewhat crazy to trade him. But when I step back and look at it, I do think they're going to be sellers. So again, with Dobson, it's like if they start tearing apart their team, is that somewhere that he's going to want to stay, or is he a guy that wants to go win right now? So there's no disrespect here at all from me or from Michael or from whoever's talking about this. This is just content. This is what brings fans in. This is what the fans want. They like to discuss this kind of stuff, right? And I think that obviously, like I said, these players are going to have to get used to it if they want eyes on this sport, because eyes equal, more fans equal more eyes, more eyes equal more money. So this stuff is what these leagues are built on. This stuff happens in every other league in any major sport. Well, again, these players, as much as I love them, they are going to have to get used to this. Now, with that being said, I love seeing this out of Dobson. I love seeing the fact that he is so passionate to play for Georgia. I love it. It's great, right? And that's the thing about these teams. They do seem like they get a lot closer than some of these other professional sports teams, right? So, we'll see what happens with this whole thing. I don't think it's not that big of a deal. Don't get me wrong. I just think that it's something to talk about, and we're getting close to the season, and we're going to start hearing trade rumors. So, any players that think this is a good idea to comment on somebody's or retweet, if you don't want this to, go bigger than what it is, then I wouldn't be doing that. And nothing against Dobson. Hey, every player deserves to deal with things the right way. I think it's hilarious. And please, more players do this, in my opinion. This brings more fanfare. This brings more, all this stuff. I don't care. Somebody call me out. That'll be my highlight of my week if I called a boy player like this. At the end of the day, guys, we're all just trying to grow the league, and I want to see the players make more money, and this stuff is great for it. So thank you, Dobson. Thank you, Michael, for getting this going, and thank myself for continuing to coax this fire. So anyway, just a little bit of humor there, but guys, we love it. We love you, Dobson, and I don't think Georgia is going to trade you anytime soon, but you never know in sports. We've seen bigger trades out of bigger markets before that you probably didn't expect. So we'll see what happens, boys. Let me know your thoughts on that. I think that I think trade speculation is a good part of this game, and it's going to help bring fans in and all that stuff. But, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think this is great for the fans. I can understand why it could get in a player's head though. And that's why a lot of these professionals stay off social media. So we're lucky in this sport. We do have guys that are responsive and stuff like that. So I hope that doesn't change too much. So just players try to block the noise. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So now we're going to bring in Zach Raymond, founder of the lacrosse band YardSale Lacrosse. He basically made that so because there was no real good lacrosse brands, nothing he wanted to wear. And he's got the same mindset as me. If it's not there, you build it. A Canadian boy playing in the AL this year for the first time. And I wish him all the best. He's a little bulldog. He's my type of player, to be honest with you, and that I love watching as a fan. And the interview went really good. So I'm going to bring you right into it. And you guys let me know what you think. So without further ado, let's get right to the interview with Zach.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, Jacob. I'm glad to be on the pod.
Yeah, just let us know how you start, like how you got into lacrosse, basically. How'd you start?
Yeah, so I was in grade 9. The grade 12s and returning guys asked me if I could play goalie. So I said, yeah, I'd never played lacrosse before, never even heard of it. So I hopped in nets. I played grade 9 and grade 10. I played goalie. It was fun, but they didn't really care about trying to make me a better goalie or anything. They kind of just wanted someone to shoot on and wanted someone to stand on that during games. So every practice I was getting crease cranked on and stuff, but I did improve. And I kept working at it, but I did want to play player, so I kept playing. Went to play player. And then I played long pole for a year, and I played attack for my last year, and then I played junior B for the Tynanega Wolfpack, and then I played that for 2 years. Then I switched to rugby, and then I came back for my first year just this last summer. I played some senior C. I did some practices with some senior A teams, and got some offers to come out for a game, but didn't get any offers for like a whole season or anything. Um, I decided not to risk not being able to go back down. But then I'm planning on playing in the ALL this upcoming season. The draft is on Saturday, and then I'll have to make it at a camp.
Okay, cool, man. So can you run through the ALL? Because I'm a little bit familiar with it, but I'm not fully, uh, I don't think I fully understand how that league exactly works.
Yeah, so it's a GTA league, so it's all the way from like Six Nations to Peterborough. There's a Brampton team, Oshawa, Whitby, and basically it's the official minor league of the NLL. Probably because most guys that are recruited to the NLL highly are from Ontario, and probably mostly in that area as well. That's pretty much it. And then there's a draft each year. Everyone who enters the draft is drafted, but then you go to the camp and you have to make the team as well. So I'm just kind of waiting on seeing where I get picked up. And I've heard that there's some movement between the NLL and the ALL between teams. Like there's partnerships, and there's some movement on if they see a guy who's playing really well in the ALL, they'll bring him up for the NLL for a game. Like they'll sign him for a game, and then maybe if they don't want to keep him, they'll just send him back down to his ALL team. So it kind of works like the AHL for the NHL, but I don't think they have exact partnerships with specific teams. Kind of just they get to know the coaches and talk to them and stuff.
Okay, yeah. So run us through what the tryouts look like for that one of those leagues. Are you trying out as just like in a whole combine, or are you trying out for individual teams?
So the draft happens. Everyone gets drafted, I assume, so that one team has their rights, and then you can go to the camp for that specific team, and that's the only camp that you can go to. I don't think it's a combine or anything. It's probably run like really like any other camp. And so it's essentially, I think it's like 2 or 3 practices in the third weekend of November, and then they kind of just pick the team based on that.
So is this your first year playing in there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah.
All right, awesome, man. Okay, so tell us a little bit of Yard Sale Lacrosse. How'd you start that? How'd you come up come up that brand? Because I know that there isn't a lot of lacrosse brands around.
Yeah, that's pretty much the biggest reason I started it because when I started playing lacrosse again, I was looking for some merch, just because like I was just looking for someone to show that I play lacrosse. I was kind of just looking just to see if there was any good brands out there where I could buy a T-shirt or something that's lacrosse related, because that's just something that a lot of people like. They like having the swag and the merch, teams that they like, of sports that they like, or brands that they like. And I noticed there just wasn't really anything out there that I liked, or that stood out to me as like the brand in lacrosse to wear. So I've been in marketing for 6 years now, marketing and social media, also in product sales and retail. For the company that I was working for before, I was running their whole social media and marketing division. And I said, well, there's clearly a market gap here. And also, I want lacrosse apparel, and I don't like any of the stuff that's out there. So I said, okay, I'll make it myself. So I started making it myself, and I've just been really developing from there. That's been, I think, 4 or 5, less than 5 months in. And we're growing pretty well. We're almost at 100 sales so far, so it's going really well.
No, that's awesome, man. Because I know I have to agree. I've looked at for some lacrosse merchandise myself, and it's really there's not much out here there, or it's super super basic.
Yes.
So it'd be nice to see some more brands get out there. Absolutely. Okay, so I noticed you're coaching U13, the Junior Black Bears.
Yeah,
How'd
I
you be?
did. So that was a junior NLL tournament this summer, and I think it's just every summer they do a junior NLL tournament. And they tried to get into the unboxed stuff, but they were told just this one in November or December isn't happening now. But I was going to go coach for that as well. So they do like random tournaments too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was wondering about that. Like, a lot of those kids are from the from Ontario?
Yeah. They're all
Okay,
from
cool.
the Ottawa area, and then the Toronto junior Toronto team is from the Toronto area. Then the junior Buffalo teams from the like they all have a team in that area.
So were you part of the picking the team? Like, were you part of the picking the players, or did you just kind of jump in there and help? Okay, cool. So how'd
Yeah.
you guys go about picking the players? Like, how do you go choose the best U13s? Do a bunch of players come out, or are you kind of going to the other organizations and looking at, asking them who's good and who stands out?
A little bit of both. So I didn't do any of the scouting. The head coach did all the scouting. But for it was very limited. Like just networking and having coaches that you know and asking them if they have anyone that they think should come out. And then watching specific games. Like I was coaching the U15 Kingston team, and I was around the U13s too, so I could see. We had one player from the U13 Kingston team named Troy Barry, so I told him to come out. And then he was at the tryouts as well, and he ended up making the team. So we actually had like 75 kids, I think, come out to the Ottawa Black Bears tryout. And I think we ended up maybe picking like 18, I think it was. So it was super tough to pick that team. We ended up scouring it down and then having a final tryout with I think around 30 or 35 kids there. Um, so yeah, we did a little bit of scouting and then there was two tryouts and then a last final tryout with some cuts as well.
So what are you looking for when you're deciding to, choose these final guys to be on this team? For a U13, U15 player, what are you looking out of them to to make the team to kind of stand out?
Yeah, Yeah, so we ended up running a little bit of offense and defense. So we did end up looking at, I mean, if we were just going to run everyone out the front door, it would be a little different picking the team. We'd probably look at mostly athleticism, speed, and skill set. Um, but when it came down to running guys out the back and the front, we had to look at specific stuff like who's good at defense. If you're good at defense but not good at offense, that's fine. Or not as good at offense. If your skill set lies in the defensive area, that's fine. We can put you at the back door. So we had to look at that a bit. But we definitely looked at effort as one of the biggest things. And then who's kind of nice to the teammates, who's has a good attitude, who's coming up and shaking our hands and thanking us at try. This is stuff I look at. I don't want to speak for Barry, but
Yeah.
attitude is definitely something that we both looked at. And then obviously skills, athleticism. Like the guys we picked are all extremely skilled. Like it was mind blowing to me at the age of U13 how good these kids were. Um, we had a couple kids who were just like getting 4 or 5 goals a game and just blowing my mind out of the water. Like it was just like holy crap, I didn't know someone this old could even do something like that. So it was pretty easy to. I mean, there was definitely a couple last minute cuts where it was definitely harder to pick, but I was super happy with the team we ended up picking. They were all athletic, skilled, really good, like team guys, a lot of effort, and we had good guys on the defensive side and on the offensive side for sure.
Do you think it's more important for a player at that age to try to get all around better, or really focus in on, if they're a good defensive player, to focus in on defensive end of the game instead of trying to be that offensive guy? Or do you think it's just trying to get better in general is the better approach to that?
At that age, it's still a lot of fundamentals. So I think it's working all around fundamentals. I don't think if you're a D guy, you should like if your skill set at that age currently lies in defense. I don't think you should focus on only developing that defensive skill set because you think you just want to play defense. I mean, I don't think it's completely a terrible option if you know for a fact, like if you're a bigger, slower, maybe you know that you're super aggressive and you love playing defense, like keep working on your defense, but also work on your fundamentals as well. You want to know how both sides play, especially if you're on defense. You want to know from a first-hand standpoint how that offensive side plays because it's just going to make you better at defense too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that, that's great advice. I think the same thing. I think working on all kind of all skill set, and then obviously really if you're already naturally good at something, it just becomes that much easier, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, so what are you most looking forward to playing in the Arena League? Like, are you looking to try to go to that next level, or is this just something you're kind of doing on the side and just doing for,
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely my goal to make it as far as possible. Um, I think as a defensive transition guy, I definitely have the opportunity to make it to the highest level, especially with my work ethic. So it's not really just something I'm doing for fun. It's definitely a goal that I'm fully pursuing and working hard at every single day.
So what does your training regimen look like? Like what's the day in the life of you? What does it look like?
Yeah. So I work as a full-time salesman. So that takes up a lot of my 9 to 5 stuff during the day. Sometimes I'll wake up early, do my workout before. I have 5 workouts a week. I work with a strength and conditioning coach named Travis McLean. We do up in-person sessions once in a while, maybe once every 2 weeks, once every week. He is actually Connor Kieran's strength and conditioning coach as well, based in Kingston. So he's a really good guy. He knows his stuff. And he was also my strength and conditioning coach for the rugby team that I played for, so I have a good relationship with him as well. He gives me online programming that I either do at my home gym at my mom's house, or I do at just the public gym. So I do that 4 to 5 days a week, and then I also will hit the wall hopefully every day. It's getting snowy out, so the field is covered in snow, and I don't want to lose balls all day. So I wasn't shooting as much now when it snows, but I have an indoor net at my when I go to my mom's house, which is pretty close to my apartment as well. So I try to get shots in once every day or two, and then some wall ball as well. So um, between that 5 to bedtime and before, I definitely try to work in some workouts, and then some wall ball, and then some shots as well. I think the biggest issue with lacrosse compared to like NHL players or professional athletes in other sports is there's not as much off-season stuff to do. Like there's not, the guys aren't really doing as much off-season stuff. They're working full-time jobs. They're not just focused on getting better in the off-season. Like there's not as much runarounds being held. Like the hockey players, like professional guys, when I go down to the hockey arena, there's like um, junior A or OHL or NHL guys in their off season. They have ice time, so they're just all getting together, like getting in a group chat and paying their little however much it costs to get on an ice time and run a full practice with the coach out there. At least where I live in Kingston, that's not a thing. So I kind of just got to get it done myself.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's why I'm so actually hyped on Christian Watts this year, is because I see him every day posting, and he's out there working every day, where a lot of these other guys just don't post. And I'm not saying they're not out there working, but
Yeah.
it just everything's right there. And I think you hit it right there, where to see these teams get better and to see these players get better, it'd be nice to see them kind of get together on the off season.
Yeah, the problem is they don't live near each other too. Like they're all coming from different areas too, but it'd be nice to see guys in the same local area, which maybe they do. Maybe there's guys in Peterborough who pay for floor times during the off season. I honestly have no idea. But hopefully as I get on this ALL team, maybe make some new connections on that team, maybe I'll hear some stuff about what they're doing in the off season that I can get to be a part of too.
Okay, so for these tryouts that you've gone to, do you find like where do you sit skill level wise, and do you find there's a lot of like really high skill level guys there?
So I went to practice with the Coburg Kodiaks during the summer, which is the senior A MSL team. Um, when it comes to my like offensive skill set, yeah, I'm not going to play offense ever probably, and I'm fine with that at this point. My skill set lies in aggression, in footwork, in speed. Definitely speed. I would put myself in a race against honestly, like I'll race anyone in the NLL, and I think I'll do a good job. I played for the Team Canada Development Academy in rugby, and my biggest thing getting there was speed. I also played for the Toronto Arrows Development Academy, which is another professional rugby team, and my thing was speed there. I'm super fast. I'm a big guy. I have aggression, and I understand the game. So I like I said, I coach myself. I watch the game a lot. I'm always trying to learn. So I think that's super important for defense is like the strategy and understanding what to do. And as long as you don't lose your man and you're switching when you're supposed to, and you're able to keep up with anyone on the floor with aggression and speed, like as long as you got that on defense and you do your job and you get the ball to someone as you're coming off, I think I definitely would put my skill set up there when it comes to that.
Well, I think one of the most important skills or things that can be done on the box or the field are loose balls, right? And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing is get to those loose balls. If you have a guy that can do that, it can turn the tide of a game, right? And those turnovers. So it's not all about scoring goals. And but absolutely, I know what you mean for sure. So since you have coached before, do you find that has kind of helped in the development for you as a player as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one thing at the sessions when I'm at the sessions and I'm teaching stuff that I already know. Maybe yeah, that like people say like when you teach, you're kind of like regimenting that in yourself more. You're kind of solidifying that. Like if I'm telling someone to not let the guy coming over top of them over and over and over again, I'm telling different guys at different sessions. I'm telling the same guy over and over. I'm cementing that in him. Yeah, it's like adding that in my brain where I know I'm staying on his back hip on defense. He's not coming over top of me. Then when I'm playing, the same thing's going to happen. That's one thing. The second thing is I'm also like always learning because I want to be able to coach as good as well as possible. And it's happened like one or two times, especially there was one specific moment when I was coaching the junior Black Bears. There was a quick transition, and I yelled at an offensive guy to come off the floor. To come off the floor, and he really should have stayed on his guy because they ended up scoring in transition there. Instead, I yelled at him to come off. I was like, "Get off, get off, get off!" And then his guy ended up like bursting speed. I just didn't think he was going to be that fast. He like sprayed down the floor like really fast, got the ball, scored, and I was just like, "Oh!" And like that sat with me for like weeks. So something like that, I was like studying and I was watching film, and I was like, just it it's not necessarily about the on floor stuff. It's about always learning myself because that is like something that really got to me. So I want that to happen as little as possible. I want anything that happens on the floor, I don't want it to be my fault, basically. And I want all the good things to be kind of stuff that I've implemented in the team too. So
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I think like lacrosse IQ is so important as well, right? And that can really separate a player as well from the pack, from another guy that maybe doesn't do as much of that.
yeah.
And so, what would you recommend for how? What's the best way to gain lacrosse IQ for some of these players?
I'm still working on that myself. I'm
Okay.
always trying to figure it out. So I actually made a connection with Elliot Bender, the box lacrosse guy, and he's actually agreed to kind of mentor me and watch some game film with me as I have ALL games, and if I'm doing like a shooting session, send him film of that. So that's one thing, like making connections with someone who really cares and is like dedicated themselves to learning more of the game. That's one thing that's definitely going to be super helpful for me. But yeah, there's a lack of material out there. So like the only really person, um, I mean, there is a lot. There's a lot of people that I just don't remember their names right now off the bat that make content. But a lot is like in comparison to other sports is like almost nothing.
Yep.
There's a couple that I've seen. I just don't remember their names. They don't stand out as much to me. But Elliot makes some really good content. And that's who I've been learning a lot of my stuff from. And then just watching film and trying, Elliot made a recommendation to me to watch like just watch NLL games and watch one specific player who's really good at defense and just watch him every shift and watch exactly what he does, watch how he does it. When there's a mistake that happens, watch that and figure out why that mistake happened. Um, so yeah, I mean, I wish there was more creators that were making solid breakdown stuff. There is actually a lot more for field than there is box too. But if anyone sees anything, just send it over to me. I'm definitely excited to watch it.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's not a lot of stuff out there for box lacrosse. It's like kind of like this little hidden sport gem. And then I find once people are introduced to it, it just they fall in love with it. So we just need to get exposure, right? So
Yeah,
okay, perfect, man. So I see you have done some MMA, and BJJ and stuff like that. I grew up doing that as stuff as well.
sweet.
Taking BJJ and Muay Thai, Keto, all that kind of stuff a little bit. So,
Nice.
do you find that there's anything that you take from the MMA training over to lacrosse at all?
Yeah, so in every single sport, I've been like just an absolute prick to people. And honestly, like my teammates will yell at me and be like, "Zach, shut up! Like, don't do that! Like, whatever." And it just like, and I've also been a top athlete and player and energy and effort on every team I've ever played for my entire life. Maybe not the talent. Maybe the talent was there for some sports, but on other sports, maybe I carried myself to the level that I've got to just because of my effort and my aggression. And the reason that for that is because like I found when I chirp guys, when I get in their heads, when I'm aggressive and like I hate the other team, that fires me up. And that carries over and translates into the effort and kind of not letting myself become embarrassed. So like transitioning that over to the MMA stuff after I played junior B. my first year of junior B, I was a D guy, and the coach would send me on the floor when he wanted me to fight. And I also played D, but if I was on the bench and he wanted someone to fight, he would tap me on the shoulder and say, "Go fight that guy." And at that point, I had no MMA training, no background, and every single time I went out there to go fight someone, I was shitting myself. But I was just like crazy enough to do it anyway. And I was just fighting with absolutely no skill and just super aggressive. So right after that, in the summer, I decided, or right after that summer, I decided to start training. And since then, the confidence has just like gone through the roof, and I think that's carried over to every sport I've played. I started playing rugby after I was training MMA, and the confidence carried over in that. Whether it was my like aggression or body control or confidence, being able to stay calm in chaos is a huge thing I found from MMA. Like when stuff gets super chaotic, when it gets right down to the line in a tie game, and you need someone to be like level headed, I'm level headed. I'm there. I'm chirping. I'm in their ear, but I know that I will not get mad at their chirps. So like I'll get in their head, I'll get them mad, I'll get them to take penalties, and I will never blow up. And I think that's come from MMA too, is just like being able to stay calm. And because like going in the cage is the scariest thing that you can ever do in your entire life, in my opinion. So nothing compares to that after that. And then in lacrosse, if it comes down to senior A or pro or ALL, whatever it is, if a fight happens, I'm confident in keeping and in being in that fight. I'd prefer not to. I'd prefer to make it as an athlete, but obviously it's going to happen. It's lacrosse, and I'm a guy who's going to get into people's heads, so it's definitely going to happen. And if I lose a fight, I think that probably comes from MMA too. Like I'm not scared to lose a fight either. Like I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna. That's fine. I'm not gonna die. Like if I fight someone, it's a good fight, and it's probably for a reason, and then I'll probably be buddies with them after. So it is what it is. But I'm definitely not scared in chaos, and I definitely am able to keep calm, which is a good thing I found too.
Yeah, man, and honestly, the fighting part and like even the way you chirp and stuff, like personally as fans, I love that. But I think it gives you an edge. So if you're already athletic and you have all that stuff, and it comes down to two guys, it's going to give you that little bit of an edge that you need, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about your brand, man. Like, so what's the vision behind the brand?
The vision behind the brand, short term, it's to keep grinding, grow the game, help out in the community as much as I can, go to tournaments, set up booths, talk to kids, get them fired up about playing lacrosse. I've seen firsthand there's our association at least has a lot of hockey players. It's mostly hockey players who play lacrosse in their off season. And I want to as a brand and as a person, and I found this is it's already happened a little bit, is getting guys who are playing a little bit of lacrosse fired up about playing lacrosse. And it's like it's cool to play lacrosse. It's a sick sport. It's awesome. Like just getting people like excited to play lacrosse and get them out of the mindset that it's just an off season for hockey and maybe it's your main sport. And I think that's that starts with development. So that's a lot of the stuff I'm doing is coaching and lending my knowledge where I can to these young athletes, and growing the game. Like our motto is through the brand. And the brand isn't just clothes; it's social media posting that people can send to their friends, post on their story. It's a lifestyle. It's content. It's just trying to get the sport out there as much as possible. That's short term. Long term, I want to have a travel team. I want to have an association of sorts. I want to have a team full of athletes. And yeah, I mean, wherever we can go from there, but keep growing it as much as possible. But I definitely want to have like a yard sale lacrosse club travel team and go to like fun tournaments and stuff like that. I feel like that'd be super cool as well.
No, that's perfect. And I was actually gonna say, like, you kind of remind me of like the Coach Chippy of lacrosse, and I was saying that before I seen your videos, or at least those style of videos. It was like we need somebody like that in lacrosse that does those like funny, through the NLL. I'm not that guy, unfortunately. I don't have that much creativity.
Yeah,
I always said like that there's such a need, and I told my kid, he's 10 years old, I'm like, start doing videos like this, man. You'll blow up. Like, and
100%.
so keep that stuff up because I find that stuff hilarious. And I think once you're seen more and more and more, you'll definitely get your name out there for sure, man. By doing that.
Awesome. And I also like a big thing is, even I've seen in the comments of my videos that have blown up, like it's just there's a lot of negativity on social media. It's so negative and it's so serious too. Like other brands,
Yeah.
I've noticed, not just in lacrosse, but in really anything. In my opinion, they're too serious. Everything's too serious. It's all just, hey, look at this sweater, buy it. It's like, dude, offer it as an option to people who like it. Okay, yeah, that's like I like that hat. I'm gonna buy it because I want to wear it. Yeah, I don't think it's bad morally to like sell product, and I'm not making a very big margin on any of the products I'm selling right now. Um, it's not about that for me. It's more just like offering it as an option. If someone wants to buy this because they think it's cool, I think that's great. I think offering that because I want stuff too. Like as a consumer, I want cool stuff that I can wear. So having that as an option is great, but also be funny, have fun, like make people happy, make people laugh, and just like take it less seriously. Don't take I think as a brand, just taking yourself too seriously is just like it's whatever. It is what it is, but I just think it's important to have fun.
So I think you've hit it right on the head there, though, man. Is a lot of these brands that seem feel so stiff now instead of just trying to appeal to the consumer, and you see that in business really changed that in the hockey community, I find. But now, with guys like you and stuff, we can do the same thing for the lacrosse community as well, right?
Yeah. I had actually a question for you. Did you see Amesbury get signed to the Thunderbirds? He was an ECHL fighter. I don't know. I think he might have played in the AHL. He's a very very like popular fighter
Okay.
in the hockey world. Pretty
Yep.
much just a fighter.
Yep.
And I think maybe he played junior A little bit. But he must be like, let me check how old he is. Like Daniel Amesbury, age, he's 34. So junior A was a long time ago, probably like 15 years ago, and he's played hockey ever since then. And I think it's honestly my opinion on it. I've heard some different opinions. A lot of people think he got signed to the Thunderbirds to sit on the bench, and they're going to put him out there when they want him to fight someone. Because he's an enforcer. His name's Diamond Hands. Like he's a scrappy guy. He's got a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
I think he's super cool, and I think that he got signed to a 3-year deal actually. So a lot of people I've talked to have had different opinions on it. And they've said like I think it's maybe bad for the sport. It takes away a spot from someone who's been putting a lot of effort into like making it to that level. And my opinion is it's going to bring a lot of money into Halifax with the popularity that this guy's going to bring to, especially if every time they play at home, Amesbury is going to fight someone. Like that's going to get a lot of seats filled up. I think it's super cool. I think there is also the opinion that it takes away from someone who's been playing lacrosse for a long time. But if you don't have someone who's been playing for lacrosse for a long time who is going to be willing to fight, which I went to probably 5 Black Bears games last season, maybe
Yep.
6 or 7,
Yep.
and I didn't see a single fight. So it's a I understand taking it out of hockey a little bit. It's actually this year and last year it was a lot more relevant in hockey. There's been a lot more fights with a couple new guys who have been fighting a lot more. But I think it does have a place in lacrosse, especially if you got someone who's just as like I was watching the Black Bears against Rochester last year, and Fields was just getting his hands
Yep.
demolished off ball the whole game. The entire I forget who was doing it, but his hands must have been like completely bruised after the game. If you got someone doing that and they're not getting called for it, you got to have someone who can go out there and deal with it. So I think it has a place. Played in probably 15 years, from what I know. So yeah, I was wondering your opinion on that.
I mean, to me, I think I'm kind of in the same realm as you. It's funny because I have a medical background as well, so I understand like the whole. I've researched CTE. I know how dangerous it is. Fortunately, what I find in hockey or lacrosse is if you take fighting out of the game, you're going to get a lot more stick infractions. You're going to get a
Yeah,
lot more slashing. You're going to get a lot more like once a fight happens, it usually ends the tension in a game, or that at least for that immediate moment, and then it's over, and then people can play the game, right? So I think there's definitely I don't agree with taking it out of the game, and I think there's guys who know their roles, and I think we go through different stages in these sports that sometimes you got teams that are going to win that are more finesse guys and speed, and then you have other times where another franchise will go, okay, let's go get a bruiser route and let's just go hit these guys hard and play them hard, and that's what wins. So I think that you're going to see waves of this, but I think that every team has the right to do whatever they want. If they think that is the guy that's going to make their team a championship team, which I kind of am on board with a little bit, yeah, it is, because it gives those other players that, first off, no one's going to go out there and try to hurt their stars because they know that they're going to have to
Yeah.
deal with it. And
Yeah.
that, so yeah, I'm for it, honestly. I really am for it.
Sweet. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I'm an old school hockey fan like that too, and I just know that even with hockey now, I find you see a lot of that stuff that kind of gets called out, a lot more high sticks, a lot more all that stuff. So it's the same as lacrosse. I seen it in the game here when I went to see the preseason, like a couple rough hits during a preseason, and there was no fights, and it's just like I do understand, but at the end of the day, it's when you're doing it to stars, like you have to answer to it, right? There has to be an
Yeah,
answer.
for
So
sure.
okay. So all right, so let's talk about like in the NLL for a little bit here. What do you think? Are you tied to a team at all? Obviously, being a player, it's probably a little bit different, especially aspiring to maybe get there. But do you like just watching games in general, or is there a team that you really like enjoy watching?
I'm a Black Bears fan, and then I also like Halifax. My girlfriend's from Halifax. I actually got coached by Micah Kersey at a camp when I was younger, as well. So I like their colors. I think they have a lot of hype around their team. They fill the barn a lot when they play. Like there's a lot of fans. Um, and yeah, I like watching them. And then I like Vegas too. I like Hammer a lot. I
Yep.
think that Burn signing, or not Burn, Chase Frazier signing is going to be huge. I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch this year too.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Hammer because I that's why I kind of like you resemble a little bit of him, to be honest with you, when you talk about how you play. Like, because that's that
Yeah,
guy I always, I mean, I've seen a couple of his TikTok too, and he's throwing the logs around and stuff. Like, I can tell you, if there's a player in the league that I wouldn't want to get hit by, it's got to be him, dude, because he would
yeah,
like
he's
just
tough.
murder you. Yeah, so okay, so who do you got for like winning the championship this year if you had to pick somebody?
Um, with Buffalo losing Frazier, like they're always a contender. I
Yeah.
mean, having Dean Smith and Byrne and the other guys, I think they're going to be a contender this year. I would like to say Vegas is going to be really good. They didn't really show, like, what was their record last year? It couldn't have been very good. Do you
Oh, they were
know?
they were yeah, no, they were they 3 wins.
Yeah. I'm a little biased, but I'd like to see them do well. I think it'll be between uh, Buffalo, probably Saskatchewan's going to be up there again. I think the Black Bears are going to be better this year than they were last year. But I honestly couldn't say who I think is going to win it this year. I think it got a lot more even than it was last year, to be honest, during the offseason.
Yeah,
What do you think?
absolutely. I mean I'm on the Vancouver train right now, but we'll see what happens. I think Halifax is I've been pretty vocal that I'm a big Halifax fan in the sense that
Yeah,
I
they
think
were
they're
good
win
last
now
year.
kind of thing. Yeah, I think they were really good last year, and I think they've just gotten better just by developing and stuff like that. Vegas is going to be good as long as they can figure out their goaltending situation. At Buffalo, you can't count on Saskatchewan. Nobody's talking about Saskatchewan, but Saskatchewan's really just go running with the same team they did last year. Arguably,
Yeah.
Buffalo's worse. Saskatchewan should be basically the same, so they should really be considered one of the top teams. So there's a lot of, I think there's about 5 or 6 teams this year, honestly, that can have a good shot at winning the championship.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
mean,
just
Halifax
exciting.
was like one play away
Yeah,
from the finals. Like
yeah,
that one play where they were winning by one, and they
yeah,
had the guy, I forget who it was, but he like, did he just drop the ball or did he go over and back? I forget what it was. It was like a
yeah.
huge play where it was like, what the heck? And then they
Yeah.
scored off it.
That's the
Or he
thing. I
took a
think
penalty. He took a really bad penalty, didn't he? And he was
yeah,
in the box for like 4 minutes.
yeah, no, like I mean, that's the thing. They kind of it happens. It's part of their game. Like
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Tyson Bell over there. I like the
me too.
Hill. I like the Bomberry addition's a nice little addition. They've got Stotts. Randy Stotts is just an amazing guy. He's gonna be injured for first little bit, but I think Christian Watts, like I said, talked about him earlier. Christian Watts is gonna have a really really good year. I think as long as he gets the playing time. So we'll see. But I think there's gonna be quite a few teams that are really good this year. So
And they drafted
They
Someone
drafted
from
Mariner.
Utah,
Mariner.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
Mariner. He
Mariner.
was at the
Yeah.
Coburg practice when I was there too. He's really
Okay.
good.
Actually,
Great
a
guy.
lot of people were saying that he's the best one in the draft. It's just that he's going to be another year, right? So that
Yeah,
was kind of the deterrent
for
for
sure.
everybody. And the draft
Yeah.
was really good, that first top half. But yeah, what do you think about him? Do you think he's as good as they say?
Yeah, he's super skilled. And like you said, he has another year. He's probably focused on field right now.
Yeah.
Um, he has another year at Utah? Or is he? It's Utah,
He's
right?
going he's going
No,
back to
it's not Utah.
university. I don't know exactly know where he plays, but he's going back to
Uh, it's
university.
it's not Utah. It's Ohio State. He plays for Ohio State.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he's good. Yeah, he's really good. He's a little small for box, but I mean Fields is small. Thinner, like less heavy set, but he's probably just an offensive skill guy. But he's good. Yeah, I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, no, man, he's going to be really good, honestly. So, okay, so is there a player that you specifically like watching in the NLL? I know you talked to Elliot there, and he was telling you to watch some NLL games, but is there anybody that you think that you could benefit, from watching?
Yeah, I watch Tyson Bell a lot. I watch Latrell Harris. He's really good. I think honestly, if I was to watch someone and model my game after them, it'd be Latrell Harris. He like reminds me of just like a rugby or football like big aggressive athlete who can just dominate guys and push them around, and that's kind of how I model my game as well.
Yeah, Latrell's a great player. I
He's
mean,
also super athletic and fast and
yeah,
good in transition and just like a tank. So that's who I
yeah,
try to like model my game after for sure.
yeah. No, I mean, I watched him during the Chiefs with the Chiefs there last in the main cup, and it was just insane how talented he is. But what are you specifically trying to like get off him when you're watching him? Like, are you just watching him completely play? Are you looking at how he transitions, like the really specific things, the little differences that he makes that rather than some other guys do?
Yeah, so there's some because of his athleticism, and he's still got a knee brace on, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know if I mean, maybe just this preseason he took it off, but I think for the Chiefs he was wearing a knee brace, and then last season he was wearing a knee brace. Like he is coming off an injury, he's still super athletic. I think the biggest thing for me when I watch someone like him is that you can get away with certain stuff because you're so athletic. So you might play the game differently than someone who's maybe like older and less athletic, but super high IQ. And like just being more aggressive, getting on guys' hands further out than maybe someone else would, being pushy, like chasing a loose ball maybe further than someone else would because you know that you can get there faster than the other guy, being more aggressive, taking more risks, and like, yeah, coming out further, being on guys' hands more and being dominant is definitely something I look for rather than kind of sitting back a little more because you don't trust in your athleticism as much.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely, man. It's true. So what do you like? Do you like designing clothing yourself, or is there someone else you kind of move towards to do that or to help you do that, or is this kind of like a one man operation right now?
It's a one man operation,
Okay.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
man,
designing everything myself.
I've been teaching myself the same stuff, and it's definitely thank God for AI, and it kind of pushes me towards and helps me with that stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting that you got to kind of be you got to be really open to learning all these different skills and just know what
For
you're good
sure.
at and know what you're not, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you want your players or anyone who follows your brand to take away from your message, or your journey?
Um, yeah, to take away from my journey is just like don't think anything's impossible. And I haven't even achieved it yet. But I know that I'm going to in my brain, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks or says. Like, I know I'm going to get there. And it was the same for rugby. So when I started playing rugby in first year of college, it was the first time I ever touched a rugby ball. And I just have this like false confidence. I was a huge Conor McGregor fan growing up. And I watched his documentary probably 50 times while I was training for MMA and fighting, like actually 50 times. And I've taken a lot from his, some would say, false confidence. And at a certain point in his career, it was false confidence. And you have to have that false confidence, in my opinion. You have to be so confident in yourself. And that doesn't mean cocky. It doesn't mean go to practice thinking you're the absolute best and just like, yo, I'm better than this guy, whatever. Like, don't think like that. I've coached players who think like that, and I just try to like get on them about being nicer to their teammates. Don't be so cocky. Don't be so full of yourself. You're not as good as you think you are. Sometimes you have to say that to people who are cocky, but for people who are confident, that's different. Like having the confidence in yourself, and it's unwavering. And no matter what happens, forget about it. Move on to the next play. Move on to the next game. Move on to the next month. Whatever it is, just believe in yourself enough where anything's possible. Like actually, to a certain extent. Like if I was like a lot older than I am and less athletic, like yeah, anything's not possible. But um, just believe in like a little higher than what's realistic. Like just have high expectations and high goals for yourself, set them, and then do what you need to do to get there. I mean, and with yard sale, like obviously when you first start something off, it's like people are looking at it being like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like honestly, what the hell is he doing? Like this is just ridiculous. Look at these stupid skits he's doing. Like his clothes are ugly. Like whatever it is, when you're first starting out, you're not gonna be that good at it. So I'd say just like keep doing it, keep getting better, and if you just don't stop, it's gonna happen. Whatever you want is gonna happen. And for young lacrosse players, there's a huge opportunity for you to play at a high level, to go D1, to go D2, whatever, to go even D3. Like there's a huge opportunity for you to get paid, to go to school, and play lacrosse, just because, especially if you like live in Canada or Ontario and everyone's playing hockey. There's not that many people that are playing lacrosse. If you work your ass off, hit the wall every day, you're gonna be a great lacrosse player, and you can do it. Like honestly, you can in some capacity.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with you there. Like, I think that there's a massive need for lacrosse players, and comparing
Yeah,
it to hockey, it's you have a better shot to make it. So that's kind of what I'm pushing towards. Even when I'm talking to my friends that have kids, it's like, you throw them in lacrosse. You're talking about, and I'm not talking about a pro even. Like I talk about going to get paid to go to school, or not paid to go to
yeah,
school, but having your education covered, kind of deal at one of these top schools would be amazing. And
hundred
the other
percent,
the other thing you mentioned too is like, you do kind of got to live in a little world of delusion. And one of the things I've been listening to this one guy talk about, and he's basically said, like, you want to start trying to live like the person you want to be, not the person you are. And eventually
yeah,
you'll become that person, right? So it's true, man. If you believe it, it's going to happen. And that's half the
hundred
battle.
percent,
So, and I'm the same way. Like, it's like, you get, when people, especially that know you, you start trying to build this brand or your brand, they don't really support you. They think you're crazy. Like, oh, I can't believe you do it. And then the same people are going to come to you and ask you
hundred
how the
percent.
heck you got there. Right. So
Yeah.
I try to just block with the noise as well. But yeah, man. So, okay. So one more question. So, if you could describe the lacrosse culture you want to help build in one sentence, what would it be?
Um, like for the team that I'm coaching, or just in general, lacrosse
Just
in
in general
general.
for, yeah, like lacrosse culture in general. What do you want it to become?
I want it to be like, instead of being second to hockey in Ontario and Canada, I want it to be right up there. Because it's like, it's, in my opinion, it's more fun. It's easier
Yeah.
to. I played hockey growing up as well. I think it's more fun. It's easier to practice. All you do, you just need to find a wall or a net outside. You don't need to find an ice time to practice your skating, which is expensive. Or you can do it in the winter. But you can run around any time of the year outside. You can practice your sprinting. You can practice your shots. So I'd say I want it to be like up there with hockey in Ontario for sure.
Yeah, I agree, buddy. I think that I think it's faster and a better game than hockey, and that's coming for a 30 plus year fan. Played when I was growing up as well, so I
Yeah,
hear what you're saying, dude. So okay, well, thanks for getting on, man. I really appreciate it. I wish you the best, and I can't wait to play. Make sure you post and let me know when you're playing your arena games, and I'll definitely check them out.
awesome. Thank you, Jacob. This is fun.
Let's talk to you later.
See ya.
So huge shout out to Zach there for getting on the show. I really appreciate him jumping on. He's, got a lot of knowledge. Still, it's kind of nice to talk to a player of that high caliber that's really still trying to go for the NLL role, because it shows, that there is a chance for these guys to play in a lot of different places. It also shows that, kind of it's nice to watch somebody on the journey, and I wish him the best. And I hope someday I see him in the NLL, and I'll definitely be checking him out in the ALL this year. I hope I give everybody a chance to go. I encourage everyone to go and do the same thing. Go check out his stuff. Go follow all his socials. Go follow him on all his channels, and go buy some merch, man. Because I mean, I've been looking at the designs myself, and some of it's really cool stuff. He said he had like about 100 sales, and if I can help anybody grow, I would love to do that. So go give him a shout out. He's a great guy and exactly my type of player. After interviewing him, like hard hitting, loves the scraps when you need to, stands up for your teammates, and gets shit done. So that's the type of guy that I want, and just and runs and plays hard every time he's out in the field. So or in the box. So I think it's a great um I think he's a great addition to any team. So with that being said, thank you for being on again, Zach, and I'm sure we'll have him on again at some point. All right, so we're gonna go right into the top 10 point getters, my predictions for the season on who's gonna be sitting there. Now this was hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I started looking at this stuff, like I thought, oh, we'll be able to do this pretty easy. It's not easy. So I'm gonna give you my top 10 list, and then I'm gonna give you my honorable mentions. So I'm gonna give you the honorable mentions first. And I'm not saying they can't, do well, but they're definitely, they're fantastic players, all these guys. Now, this is going to be in no specific order. These guys are just kind of all clumped together. So it's just because I'm going to start with 15 and work my way up, but these guys could be interchangeable. These guys are more just honorable mentions than like their 11 through 15. So we've got Mitch Jones, who's now playing for the Vegas Desert Dogs, 100-point guy most years, and I wouldn't be surprised to be that. But I think we're actually going to see more 100-point guys than we did last year. So I'm predicting about 1,500-point guys this season. If that's the case, that just because all these guys technically on the list, I think are going to get 100 points, pending they all play fully healthy, the full 18 games, all that kind of stuff. Next, we've got Joey Rosardis. He is, the guy that stayed in Philly. He's going to definitely be that player. He's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. He's a high scoring guy, always puts up points every season in and out, high level points. I think he's been a 100-point player multiple times as well. He is starting to get up there in age a little bit. And he's also playing on a Philly team that doesn't have a lot of extra weapons. They've lost a lot of their guys. To see if the is staying there. It's sounding like he is, but I'm not even sure about that. Who knows if he'll end up just sitting? I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But I think Joey Raz is a big player, big piece for Philly, and I am personally glad that he stayed in Philly. But come trade deadline, come time to halfway through the season when Philly's not going to be when they're going to be at the bottom half of the league, or maybe even, they just can't see them making the playoffs. I do see maybe him going to help a playoff team and try to run for a championship. So we'll see how that goes. Next, you got Jack Hanna as an honorable mention. Jack Hanna, I don't know if, again, there's kind of talks that he wants to be in San Diego. He doesn't want to be in Las Vegas, whether he just kind of plays. I hope we see him play no matter what. I think him and Vegas with all the additions they made, it would be crazy and fantastic. I mean, what a powerhouse that team would be. They would also have 4 guys with potential to score 100 points. But we'll see whether he stands strong and tries to end up in San Diego. But I mean, he was already just an amazing season last year. I think he had 86 points or something, and I think he's going to take another step this year and jump up there even more. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. I got Jesse King and Curtis Dixon just outside the top 10. These guys, I'm not saying they're bad by any means, but they're going to have to share the points a little bit. They're going to have to share. They're going from a team like Calgary where they were the go-to guys, where they kind of still are going to Vancouver and be those go-to guys. But you also have Keegan Ball that's also in there. You also have Charlin Beatties, which I think is going to have a big season this season. So with those 4 kind of sharing time, sharing space, all that kind of stuff, I don't know if these guys are going to be in that top 10 point getters. If they end up being there in that top 10 point leaders, I could see. Anyway, Curtis Dixon and Jesse King, like I said, I think they're still going to be in the top tier. They might even slide into the top 10 point leaders. Don't get me wrong. But I just think in Vancouver with so much talent, so much time, like things to share, the time time playing shared, I just think that it's going to be harder to really, excel. Now, don't get me wrong. This is one of the best duos in the league, and the top 10 is just really hard to crack. That's all it is. It's nothing. These guys could easily, you tell me that these guys were in your top 10, would not argue at all. And they could still end up being one of the best duos in the league, and still, in my opinion, still sit out of the top 10. So Vancouver's in for quite the season, and I'm pumped to watch them. So number 10 and number 9 kind of go hand in hand. I've got Alex Simmons and Dyson Williams. And these guys, I think they're just going to have a really breakout season. I mean, they've already kind of had breakout seasons, but I think they're going to show why they are elite and also why they're going to be battling for one of the top duos in the league. Easily Ty Kurtz could be even in this conversation as well. He's a top talent, but I find Alex Simmons and Dyson Williams, especially Williams, is really going to take a jump this year, really going to take a step. And, Oshawa has quite the team to start their legacy with, their dynasty, all that kind of stuff. They have a young core group. They've got Jameson in the back end. They've got a good transition guys. Got kind of, They're back. Their defense and their transition. There's better teams out there. Don't get me wrong, but they have good. They do have a solid team all the way through. And I think Alex Simmons, to be honest, he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. And Dyson Williams, like I said, is just going to take a massive step this year. And I think that they're going to show you why, they want to be considered the best duo in the league. So that's the reason they are there. That's the reason that they are at my 10 and 9 spot. Interchangeable, really. We'll see who. I think it'll be very close between who has more points between those two. Then we've got Keegan Ball at 8. Now, Ball, in my opinion, he's in that top tier. Lyle Thompson, Dane Smith, Jeff T. Keegan Ball is just sitting below that, in my opinion. So I think that he still is the best out of all those four guys, Charlotte Beatties, Jesse King, Curtis Dixon. I think Keegan Ball is the best out of all of those four guys, in my opinion. And that's why I think that he's going to be a little bit higher than them. Now, at the end of the day, that's really, you're talking about, is a Lambo better than a Ferrari at this point? Don't get me wrong. I know what I'm talking, like, I know I'm saying this. So, but I just find Keegan Ball, watching him last season, special kind of player, and he's really got all the help he can need in the world, and it's going to take pressure off him. So he's going to jump into that next level player, I think, this year. Then at 7, and this is where I think I'm going to get a lot of pushback, is Josh Dawick. And I just, I've seen him in the preseason game. He's looking prime. I think he's ready to jump into that superstar role. He's got all those young guys around him that are going to help him. And I think that, he's going to be that kind of that veteran presence that they need. And he's a top-notch player, and he's going to show them how to play the game, how to play in the NLL. And it's going to actually also help elevate his game as well. So when the team gets better around you, usually the star players on that team also get a lot better. So I think Dawick's going to be leading Toronto this year in points, and I think that he's going to kill it this year. So that's my kind of, I guess, somewhat controversial pick on this list, because I think he was ranked 36 last year in points, and this year I think I could see him, like I said, I got him at 7, and I just think that he's going to make that jump and show why he is one of the best players in the world. My opinion again, right? So then got Lyle Thompson. This is going to be interesting. Lyle, I've been talking about, I think Georgia might be sellers this season. We'll see how the first half of it goes. Lyle, whether he wants to stay in Georgia, he loves it. I think he loves it there, right? He's got a lot of teammates that he loves, and he just seems to really enjoy playing there. I think it'd be crazy to let him walk as an organization, but at the same time, if you're looking to get younger and better, that might be an option. I truly believe nobody's untradeable, and you never know. Again, this is all just my own speculation. Nobody's telling me this stuff. I just think that when I look at it and stand back and look at the rest of the league and look at the other teams, I think Georgia is just gonna maybe. I'm not saying they won't even be. They might be. They could get into the playoffs. They are a good team. With that being said, they are aging, and from what I've seen in from their moves that they made over the last little bit, and from what I've seen in training camp, I do think they're trying to get younger. That's just my own opinion. So I still do think Lyle, no matter where he goes, he's going to be a top scorer. He stays in Georgia, he's going to lead that team. If he goes somewhere else, he'll probably lead that team. And I think it would be a really interesting trying for a team that's trying to push themselves, especially over the edge, especially in playing against Vancouver, playing against Buffalo. These other teams that are right on the cusp are trying to win. They might have to go try to get a guy like Lyle. You can't. There's no real way to get a guy like Lyle. If he's available, you have to throw it. If you think you have a shot at the championship, and Lyle is, even in the conversation, go get him. Go get him. Like, I would love for him to see him on top, like on a team that maybe is at that, that point. Like, see him go play with Jeff Teat in Ottawa, or see him go play in Halifax with those boys, and really let's crank this up. For a team like that, and especially Ottawa, for example. Ottawa really wants to make the playoffs this year. Jeff T, can he do it by himself? Maybe. Would a guy like Lyle help him? Yes. Now, again, I'm just going to mention this one more time. I'm not saying Georgia's trading anybody. I don't know. But when I stand back and look at it, and when they're not in a playoff, or they're not in a position that they probably maybe want to be in, getting to that trade deadline area, then you might see them decide to move it. Next we have number 5. Now, Jeff T could be number 1, and this is the same thing. I'm not really saying this is going to be the exact order, but I think Jeff T, just because I think he's going to get even better this year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he put up 60 this year. The guy, every time I watch him play, it looks like he gets better. So I cannot wait to watch him get into Ottawa, and he's the captain there. He's really he's going to be the guy that I think the league's trying to make the face of the league, in my opinion, going forward here. And I think that he could be that guy play style wise. I would like to see a little bit more of him getting out there and kind of like his personality shining through. Don't get me wrong, but Jeff T is honestly, it's hard to argue that he's not the best player in the world right now. I will say that. So we'll see what happens with him this season, but I think that he's in for a big season, and I just do not see Ottawa missing the playoffs with him there this year. So number 4, you have Ryan. At number 4, you have Ryan Launchbury, and at number 3, you have Connor Fields. So that duo right there, right? And I do really think that again, this duo could be first, right? Rochester has so much firepower. These guys just know exactly how to play with each other. They go out there, they get stuff done. They're adding Zed Williams in there. They're going to be a terrifying team come this season. So it's going to be interesting to see these two. I think they're going to be right at the top of the league. These guys could be the best duo in the league. These guys could also be the 3rd or 4th best duo in the league. It really depends on how everything plays out. But I think with these guys, I think you're just going to see the same status quo as we did last year, right at the top of the league. Both these guys in the top 5 is not anything out of the question, if not the top 10, right? But it is tight, and it really depends on what everyone else is doing. Then then finally, you've got Dane Smith and Josh Byrne. And these guys are interchangeable. They're going to honestly have to put more on them this year, probably a little bit, unless some of these younger guys step up. But with the losses they've had, they're going to have to get that scoring from somewhere, whether that'll be somebody they bring in, one of these younger guys that they bring up, or Smith and Burns are just going to have to even go have a bigger season than last season to try to, get them there. But again, just with these two, as long as they stay healthy, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with through this whole season. So don't count out Vince's back, don't count out Buffalo. And like I said, these guys are the big boys. They're right in their prime of their career, and they want to win and show. I think they want to prove that they are the best of all time duo, let alone we're talking about best of the season. But I don't, I wouldn't basically put my money anywhere else other than these two on being the best duo in the league, just because if history repeats itself, it will be them again. So that's kind of my thoughts on the top. So anyway, those are my top 10 picks anyway, guys. And those are like who I think is going to be the point leaders for the season. So we'll have to see how this all bears out. I think that there's a lot of guys on this list. Like there's a couple guys that I left off, obviously, that could be on there as well. There's an argument to be made for quite a few guys, to be honest. But when I was looking at it, I was like, wow, this is a lot tougher than I even thought it was going to be. You know, Again, these are just my opinions. You guys let me know who you think. Who did I leave off the list? Who do you think is like a guarantee that they're going to get on there? Let's get into right about league structure. Now, this is something that was talked about on OTCB, which is the Teddy Jenner and Pat Gregor podcast, the TSM boys over there. They have their own podcast, and honestly now I am a regular listener. Like I know they just dropped one. I got to go listen to it still. Same as Lacrosse Classified. Those are the two podcasts that I listen to every week. And what they were talking about this week, Teddy Jenner and Pat were both talking about the structure of the league and switching it to summertime over summer, right? Which is, I think I'm pretty sure that was them. Don't quote me on that maybe, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was them. I want to give them credit though. That's why I wanted to mention it if it was them. So anyway, I think this is the thing that I've been saying since when I first came into the league and started watching this last year. I said, why is this not over spring and summer? So what I think the perfect timing for this league to be at would be like the beginning of May, start the NLL, right? Have the preseason in April, whatever people can start getting, kind of acquainted with it while the Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. After round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, whether that be late April, I think it'd be into May. Yeah, it's into May, so it'll be mid-May. Basically, start playing lacrosse because hockey is going to be coming to an end. And a massive amount of hockey games are going to be coming to an end. There might be only one game on every, basically a game on every other night at that point. So all these hockey fans are going to be starting to look for something to watch because this is me. I know this because this is exactly how I am. I'm a hockey fan, right? First, I'm a diehard hockey fan. And this is the way I'm the same way. Once hockey season was over for lacrosse, I didn't have anything to watch, right? And I'd watch a little bit of baseball, a little bit of CFL, then I'd wait till, all the college stuff comes out, and then the NFL. So I have a routine. But there's about a month and a half, 2 months that I really don't have anything to watch because I don't watch baseball. I'll throw the Jays on and all that stuff. But if you're a hockey fan like me that doesn't watch any of that stuff, then you're kind of lost and looking for something to watch. I've watched women's curling up here before in my garage. I always have something going. And that goes for I've also, that goes for even poker. Like I will watch poker on TV if there's nothing else on. I would definitely watch lacrosse. So for all these hockey fans that have nothing to watch, I think it's a perfect chance to try to be like, oh, okay, check out this stuff. Get them to play it during, maybe throw a commercial on there during a playoff game if you can. Or maybe hopefully we can get a highlight right around the same as a highlight with hockey because there's only going to be so many. So I think it would increase the fandom. It would put hockey fans, give them something to watch over the summer. And I know a lot of people's thing is, oh, nobody wants to go sit in an arena in the summer. I do, and I'm just one hockey fan, right, and a diehard lacrosse fan now. But that's just my own opinion on that. So if I'm like that, I feel like there'd be a lot of other guys who would be like this. And then you put the tickets, you keep the tickets at the prices they're right now, and you're selling these things out. I almost guarantee it. And if you want to see it, if you want to test it after the season's over, get them to do an all-star game in Toronto, either the Rock Arena, probably the Rock Arena, and watch that shit sell out. Everyone's like, oh, there's no point in doing them. There is for fan growth, and there is for this exact reason, to test market. Would playing in the summer be a viable option? And these teams are saying they're not making money. We've been doing this for 40 years. If you're legit not making money, if that's complete truth, then why aren't you open? You be open to looking at other options, which one would be moving the season, right? If it's not working during this season, we're competing against hockey, which in my opinion is the fans we need to try to pull from. It's Canada's national game. And the other thing is you're going to have to move the PLL back, which is going to have to be like a conversation with PLL and the NLL. But at the end of the day, if you're just talking about NLL, you're worried about the NLL, then it shouldn't matter anyway. You need to play in the most ideal times. And in my opinion, the most ideal time is from May till maybe September, October kind of deal. So I would love to see more games. That way, I think the games could be increased, right? And I think that I don't think it would have as hard of a time as selling this game as people make it out to be during that time. I think you would have lots of people show up, and the only way to try to do it is to try to market these games, maybe play an exhibition game, something, even an old timers game, maybe. I don't know. But I do think that it would be better to have an all-star game as a trial, watch that fill up, and then try to switch this to a summer league. Or even maybe to do what the basketball does and have, you know, a feeder league, something like that during those times, make the WLA, make the MSL an official feeder league. I don't know. Maybe that's not the way to go. I don't know. That's kind of what I see it as. If we move to the summer, those leagues would become feeder leagues. And then you would have the next level down kind of deal. You would have juniors. You have basically everything the same setup as hockey, right? We have a similar setup, and you just make them affiliates like the AHL, like the NHL goes to the AHL. You make them affiliates. The Western teams have the WLA guys to pull off of. The Eastern guys have the MSL, and that's what you do, in my opinion. That's the way. I think that's the best way to grow this game. It's getting talked about more. I've said this from the beginning, and I just think that's the best way to go about doing it. So, you guys let me know what you think in that regards. But I think if we're not making money and if the owners aren't making money, why are we fighting against hockey? Let's just change it up a little bit. But if it stays like this, I still think that there's room for both people, especially because Friday nights are lacrosse nights and on TSN, and the hockey night in Canada on Saturdays. I think it's a great marketing thing. I think Brett Fruit's like I've said, I'm very vocal on this. I think Brett Fruit's the best thing to happen to this league. And yeah, I think that's pretty much my summed up thoughts on that. So again, you guys let me know what you think. So other than that, guys, this was a great episode. We went over a lot. We had a nice guest. I changed the format a little bit. I want to see how this format goes instead. Sometimes I find that I'll be talking for like an hour until my guest gets on. So I want to try this format, see what you guys think. Leave it in the comments if you like this format better, or if you like my guest at the end better. I just know I'm sure not a lot of people ramble on like listen to me ramble on for as long as I do. I like to do deep dives though. So I find if I can do like basically what my strategy here, or my thought process is to do on Thursdays, I'll do like a weekly preview, and on Friday or on Monday episode, I'll do like the recap. And so I want to do the preview first, then probably have my guests, and then do my deep dives, because I really do enjoy doing the deep dives. And I know there's certain guys on here that are probably still listening at this point to you guys that I'm talking to, addressing at this point, are the guys who like listening to my deep dives, or the people who like listening to my deep dives. And I don't want to give those up, because I do enjoy doing those. I'll probably do more of them in the off season so much, but yeah. And if you guys have anything you want in here, please comment. I know I still owe a Saskatchewan deep dive. That hasn't been forgotten about. It's just that I've had other things come up, but I will be doing a Saskatchewan deep dive very shortly. It's going to get put in one of these podcasts. And anything else you guys want me to throw in here, you let me know. If you like this format, let me know. If you like it the other way better, let me know. If you want to see me bring on anybody specific, let me know. My next guest is going to be a banger of a guest. It's not a lacrosse guy, just to let you know. He's going to be, but it's going to be, this is what we need to do. We need to start getting everyone bringing lacrosse guests in, which are great. Players, coaches, GMs, all that stuff. That's all great. I think that there's a need for that. There's also a need to get these hockey fans over here. So I'm going to bring in a big guy from the hockey community. That's all I'm going to say for now. Stay tuned. That's very exciting. I'm super pumped for that. And I'm actually surprised that he responded to me, to be honest with you. So I'm working on getting lacrosse out there, boys. It's all, that's all of this is about me. So if you guys are still listening, make sure you go follow all the socials, the Anything Lacrosse Show on most socials, Anything Lacrosse on TikTok. My merch, that's going to be coming. I didn't mention my jersey contest, so I'm going to do that now. Jersey contest, still going on. It's going to be going until the first drop, or when the face-off happens of the Firewolves game. That's the end of it. That's when the contest will close. Get in the Discord. That's one ballot automatically. Anybody you invite to the Discord who tags you is also another ballot. And then on top of that, we've also got a fantasy league coming up that I'm going to be dropping very shortly. Be talking more about that on the next episode because it'll be all be ready to go. We've also got merch coming as well. I got a merch store coming because I've had a couple of requests in that, so that's coming as well. And I'm just working on a bunch of stuff. So I'm always working. I'm always trying to get to make my content better, to make this community better. And I think we're doing a pretty good job so far. So with all that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming. My name is Jacob McDonald. I am Anything Lacrosse, and this is a game that never sits still. Until next time, we'll see you. And, may the odds always be in your favor. See you guys next time.